Notice is hereby given that the City Council Committee on Government Services, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, will hold a committee meeting on Thursday, February 10th, 2022 at 6:00 p.m. by remote participation in accordance with Chapter 20 of Acts of 2021 for the purposes of taking action on the matters listed below. Every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so on matters not requiring a public hearing, we'll post on the City of Salem's website an audio or visual or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive recording of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. Individuals may participate remotely in the meeting via a remote participation platform called Zoom. Members of the public and/or parties with a right and a requirement to attend this meeting may access the remote participation meeting through any one of the following ways. Please click on the link below to join the meeting, password 124413. Go to the website link followed by the meeting password above if necessary by telephone. Participants can dial a toll-free number at 888-475-4499 to join the meeting. When prompted, enter the webinar ID 816-6351-2273 and follow the instructions to join the meeting. Agenda, meet to discuss request from Doreen Wade, Salem United, for a City Council liaison to their organization. Meet to discuss requests from Alphonse Wright, Salem Human Rights Coalition, formerly known as No Place for Hate, for the City Council liaison to their organization. All members of the committee are present, along with Councilors Dominguez, Merkel, and Prasnewski. We also have Doreen Wade from Salem United and Alphonse Wright from No Place Salem. The Salem Human Rights Coalition. Okay, so just a background on this. I know we were just in this meeting not that long ago, and this is my fault for taking up all three of these at the same time when it should have just been the way that we handle liaisons. So in the last meeting, we discussed the ways that we as a council appoint liaisons, and we had the Assistant City Solicitor Vicky Caldwell on with us to just discuss the process for what that looks like, and the reasons why the council wouldn't appoint a liaison to a nonprofit board. So the report coming out of Government Services is that, you know, the city councilors will continue to work with nonprofits, and many of us volunteer with nonprofits, but that we wouldn't, in official capacity, appoint councilors to serve as liaisons to nonprofits. So I guess I'll open it up to the committee first. We'll take up Salem United. If there's any additional questions from the committee, we have Doreen Wade here, and then if Doreen, if you'd like to say something, we can recognize you as well. So I'll take any questions from the committee right now. Any questions from the committee of the whole? Councilor McLean.
Just one very quick question, which is during our prior discussion, I believe Doreen has stated that on a previous occasion, the council had agreed to provide a liaison, but didn't have that documentation to hand. I was just wondering if anything had been located on that.
And I think you broke up a little bit at the end there. You were a little bit muffled for me, Councilor McLean. Were you asking Ms. Wade to clarify the question around the liaison?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I was asking if any documentation had been uncovered relative to that point.
Let me just get that down. Ms. Wade, would you want to address the council, or do you have any further information on that?
No, I don't want to address the council. I just want to say thank you very much. I don't see a reason to address the council because you already voted that a city councilman could not be, or person, I guess we should say, cannot be on the city council. So I really don't see the significance for me to be here and to say anything because as I said before, and I'm not sure if Councilor Dominguez is still on, but as I said before, this is something that the city had worked out with me. And as I told you, I gave you all the names to go back to verify it. I didn't hide anything. So I'm just forwarding all the information to an attorney.
Any further questions for Ms. Wade? I guess my question is, so you had mentioned that the council had, I think you said the council had voted to provide you with a liaison. I just wanted to get clarification.
There was, in attendance was City Solicitor Beth Rayner. The whole city council board was there. City Councilor Domingo, I'm not sure if you remember this. Thank you very much. But it was stated at that meeting and approved by the president of the council, by the city council. I think the police chief was even there. And I think the Parks and Recreations, 2 people from the Parks and Recreations Commission were there. And everybody had agreed, because of all the conflict and the issues and the problems that were going on back and forth, there would be a representative from the city that was a city councilor there as well. The mayor herself sat on for a while. The city solicitor also attended many of the meetings. I think Domingo came to a couple of City Councilor Dominguez came to a couple of the meetings as well. So this had already been done. And so I kind of feel like, and I want to try to be polite when I say this, I kind of feel like you sucker punched me, because I came to a meeting. I was emailed 5 minutes before your meeting last week. I was told to attend. I was told this would be taken up. And instead of it being taken up, you voted that a city councilor could no longer sit on Salem United's board. So I kind of feel a little trapped here, and I'm trying not to appear angry, but I am a little hurt. I'm very hurt, because I felt like I was building a relationship with the city of Salem. And by having this representative on, that made me feel like we were beginning to grow together, since there were so many problems, but that was taken away from me. So if I sound a little hurt, I am.
And I'll just and thank you for that, Ms. Wade. And I'll clarify on that is 100% my fault for the way that happened last week. So last week we should have taken up just the one order, which was discuss how liaisons are appointed. And then later we should have taken up specifically these 2 liaisons, the Salem United liaison and the Salem Human Rights Coalition. I there was some miscommunication there on how that was posted. And those 2 votes, so the 2 votes that agreed to appoint a liaison to Salem Human Rights Coalition and not appoint to Salem United, should not have been taken that night, and those votes were not valid votes. So those votes will be taken tonight. And then just to respond on the liaison question, I think, as I mentioned, I think Councilor Watson may have mentioned as well. Happy to talk with you as to what you're looking for out of the council and what we can do for you. We just can't legally appoint from the council a liaison to a nonprofit, and I don't know that you maybe would even want a liaison appointed, because it's something where if you're applying for CPA funds, any liaison and potentially the entire council that voted in that liaison would have to recuse themselves. And there's a lot of legal issues that our city solicitor was concerned about. But if there's things that you're looking for out of the council, I think many of us would be happy to discuss those with you.
Well, there's many on here that I know personally, and I have a great respect for you all. And I'm not going to hold anyone here responsible, because I don't feel like you all are the ones that have done this. I feel like the city leaders did not own up to their responsibility, and they should have made this known to you before you voted. I feel like you were put in a bad position. You're trying to do what you're supposed to do, but they had already done something that they shouldn't have done. And that brings me a very bad, distrustful feeling right now. Because if you're telling me that it shouldn't have been done, but they did it, I hope everybody can understand why I would be angry, because I feel misled.
Counselor Cohen?
Thank you, Chair Hapworth. I'm not sure, I'm going to direct a question to Councilor Dominguez through you. If you were at that meeting and there was documentation that the council moved and voted affirmatively to have a liaison to Salem United, do you have that documentation?
If I may,
Counselor Dominguez.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. Being a member of the committee, directly responding to Councilor Cohen, I was witness of most of the meetings that we had in the past in regard to the liaison for the United organization that we're talking about. I think in the same conversation, we also have other organizations that I wasn't not aware that had to be non-profit organization, because I think No Place to Hate in some instance also was mentioned in those conversations to be allowed to have a liaison. So I wanted to make sure that I was in those conversations before. I think we have record on it. I think the city clerk or anyone who keep the file will see in file that the conversation was made up, and I think that we came to a conclusion to allow the liaison to be in that organization. And my recollection that I have on top of my head, I affirmatively know that it was something done in that regard. So it's a matter of getting into the file. That's why we record every meeting. It's a matter of going to the paperwork that we have, and we will find out every evidence that we are talking about. Don't take my word. I say yes. My point is, let's go and do the research, and we're going to find out. But I'm a witness on those conversations.
And I think you need to go to the city solicitor as well.
Counselor Cohen and
I think
Ms. Wade, just appreciate your perspective and your opinion. Make sure you're recognized by the chair.
I'm sorry. I don't know how to do that little yellow hand.
No worries. Counselor Cohen?
Yes, thank you. So absent any documentation, and based on what we discussed at the meeting on Tuesday, and just so Councilor Dominguez knows, what we discussed was the difference between a advisory committee, a city committee, like Salem Human Rights Coalition, and an outside organization, a nonprofit, where we probably have hundreds of them in Salem. So I'm going to move that we take the same vote that we did on Tuesday, which is not to recommend that the city council appoints liaisons to outside organizations.
Second.
So the motion is from Counselor Cohen. Motions to not to this specific. So just to be clear, Counselor Cohen, this specific item is on Salem United. So do you want to clarify the organization within this?
Yes, thank you.
Counselor Cohen moves that we not recommend a liaison to an outside organization, including Salem United. And that's seconded by Counselor Varela. Under discussion. Ms. Wade, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I did.
Ms.
So basically, I'm understanding that Counselor Cohen is saying, regardless of what the city solicitor has said, regardless of what the mayor has said, regardless of Parks and Recreation, regardless of any agreement that was made, you're nulling and voiding it. I'm asking for clarification to clearly understand.
If I may, Chair Hapworth,
Counselor Watson-Felt.
thank you. Ms. Wade, we're not because we don't have that report. We don't have those minutes. We don't have that paperwork. So legally speaking, we're not going against anything that we have in fact know to be the case. We are saying that we want to reserve the right to support any means that a nonprofit in Salem, including yours, comes to before the council with, which includes requests for grant funding, right? We want to reserve that flexibility and that freedom. And it is in no way a representation of whether we support your mission or not. We support the work, you do, and we want to publicly support the work you do. And I know that there are a number of us who would be happy to attend board meetings and participate in volunteer activities and to continue these conversations, that the two are not connected, right?
Yeah.
And so this is just a matter of ensuring that we can continue to support you in our official capacity. Whereas we would not otherwise be able to do that. So to say that we're going against the statement of the solicitor or the mayor or whomever, that's not quite the case, because we don't have that in hand. So even though I understand the spirit of what you're saying, that's not what we're doing. we're making a different statement. So I just want to make sure that that's clear. Thank you.
But wouldn't it be advisable to find it out before you make the mistake of voting? I'm just asking because if you find all the paperwork and you find out it's legitimate, but you voted to null and void the city's agreement with Salem United, I'm just trying to understand.
Sure. And if I may, Chair Hapworth, I'm sorry to jump to respond. Thank you. I would say that this subcommittee received new legal advice from the city solicitor's office at our meeting the last time we met, and that the new advice by the city solicitor were that there were concerns, that we would be advised to maintain that flexibility.
Okay.
You know what so for my part, I feel like I'm sitting here with new and recent legal advice from the city solicitor's office.
Okay.
And that's the base from which I'm making my own personal decision and my own personal vote.
Okay, then it's fair. Then it's fine what you're doing. That's fine. Okay, you can go ahead and vote. It's fine. I apologize because I'm speaking in Beverly tonight for Black History Month, so I do have to go. But I know what you're going to vote. I accept the vote, and I will just deal with it in my own legal way. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Have a good night, Doreen. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we do need to get to the next agenda item. I see at least one hand up right now, but you still have something you want to speak about, Councilor Dominguez?
Yes, just quickly, Mr. Chairman, if you allow me, just I just wanted to say that it was too quick, that this is a vote that the committee will take tonight, but the final decision, I believe that's going to be when you bring it out to the full council meeting tonight. So we don't have final say yet. The recommendation going to be for the body as a whole, and that's something that maybe can be addressed in a way that everybody be clarified that this is not the final on any decisions made in this committee. Thank you.
Yeah, this is just a recommendation coming out of the council to be in our report. Okay, so on Councilor Cohen's motion to not appoint a council liaison to Salem United or other nonprofit boards, seconded by Councilor Varela. Councilor McLean.
Present.
Councilor Watson-Felt.
Yes.
Councilor Cohen.
Yes.
Councilor Varela.
Yes.
And I'm a yes. So we have five committee members voting, 4 in the affirmative, 1 present. The next matter is the appointment of a city council liaison to formerly No Place for Hate, currently the Salem Human Rights Coalition. And as we discussed with the city solicitor, Salem Human Rights Coalition is an advisory board to the mayor. And this is something we do frequently, appoint liaisons to advisory boards such as the Race Equity Task Force. Previously, No Place for Hate, which has had a liaison for a number of years, and other boards. So if we want, I don't know if there's any discussion that we had on this. If Alphonse, if you have anything you wanted to ask or say, but open to any discussion right now for the next 8 minutes, and then we'll take a motion. Councilor Varela.
I would like to make a motion to appoint a liaison to the Human Rights Coalition.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Second by Councilor McLean. And under discussion, Councilor Dominguez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Not being a member of the committee, I just want to have for clarification, little explanation. When we take a vote recently, I mean, when you took a vote as a committee, I'm not part of the committee, you explaining why that was the purpose of the vote. Now, I think for the general public, I think that we deserve to have the general public, at least whoever did not to know the last meeting you have. What is the reason why we make the one yes and the other no? So if you don't mind, can you clarify in a better term, clear, so people can know exactly what's going on here? Thank you.
Yeah. So as we discussed at our last meeting, the assistant city solicitor was on. We discussed the difference between a private nonprofit and a mayoral advisory board. And the difference here is that, a mayoral advisory board does consist of boards like like I said, the Race Equity Task Force, the No Place for Hate, now Salem Human Rights Coalition. Something that we do want the ability to appoint liaisons to. They're not private nonprofits. A private nonprofit, there is a concern about a private entity receiving a public benefit. That could be considered, a liaison could be considered a public benefit. These organizations also may apply for things like CPA funding, and we want the ability to take those votes as a council and potentially grant them CPA funding. And if there were a liaison who were serving on their board, who were serving with them and were appointed by the council president, there are conflicts of interest there that we're open to. And it's not a practice that we've done in the past to appoint liaisons to nonprofits. We did discuss with Doreen at our last meeting again tonight. Most of us, I think everybody on this call is involved in multiple nonprofits. Happy to support great nonprofits like Salem United. Happy to even serve on their boards privately, but not in an official capacity as a liaison appointed by an elected body. And whatever our opinions are on that, that's also the legal opinion of our city solicitor. And again, I think as Councilor Watson-Felt mentioned earlier, not any kind of a commentary on the work that those boards do or whether or not we support those boards. A vote to not appoint a liaison to a group like Salem United is probably the best way we could support them, because there are things that they need from us that we want to be able to continue to consider with them and work with them on. So sorry if I rushed through that. That's the background on that. So we have a motion on the floor from Councilor Varela to appoint a liaison of the Salem Human Rights Coalition, seconded by Councilor McLean. Any further discussion? Councilor Cohen.
Thank you, Chair Hapworth. I just want to maybe enhance a little bit what you said. What we talked about on Tuesday is there's 2 kinds of city boards. There are boards where the mayor appoints people and the city council votes, and then there are boards or committees that are considered advisory. That would be just some of them are Salem Human Rights Coalition, Salem Recycles, These are not outside organizations. They are, like all other city boards, made up of volunteers, liaisons from other departments or in the community. I know, Salem Human Rights Coalition, has had Joe O'Keefe, Elaine Milo, Dave Epley, Christine Medor, and most recently, Councilor Prozniewski as liaisons. It's not an outside organization, not a nonprofit, not a 501c3. And that was the differentiation that Assistant Solicitor Caldwell spoke to at our last meeting.
So on the, and thank you, Councilor Cohen. On the motion from Councilor Varela, Councilor Watson-Felt,
Sorry, muted. Yes.
Councilor McLean,
Yes.
Councilor Varela,
Yes.
and Councilor Cohen.
Yes.
And I am a yes. So we have on that motion, we have 5 committee members voting, 5 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The matter carries. And I will take another motion. Councilor Varela.
Motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Councilor Varela makes a motion to adjourn, seconded by Councilor Watson-Felt. Councilor Varela,
Yes.
Councilor Watson-Felt,
Yes.
Councilor McLean,
Yes.
Councilor Cohen.
Yes.
5 members voting, 5 in the affirmative. Thanks, everyone. See you tonight.
Everyone, good night.
Thank you, Alphonse.